When King Asheka I climbed Mount Jayau, the highest peak in the world, it was twilight. After speaking to his god Unima'u and descending the mountains, it was dawn. This story, like the separation between the Twilight Era and Dawn Era, is fallacious and misleading. There is truly no differentiation between these eras except for an ancient myth and a slew of misconceptions, such as a mistaken belief that Achotha was the first nation state or that they were the first to invent writing and agriculture. If anything, the people of Achotha were late to these discoveries, and their beloved King Asheka I was behind his time. Achotha was by no means the first nation upon Uthapaba. To Achotha's south was Ugarenk, an expansive civilization of high technology and culture who existed for centuries prior to the unification of Achotha. To Achotha's north were the nations of Jitalmank and Aukink, who similarly existed for centuries. Even beyond these centralized countries were the Copper Kingdoms with their cities of Ahir and Gyupi, and the far eastern Twin Peninsulas, despite their scattered society, were home to cities, cultures, advanced technology, trade, diplomacy, and more. Most of these pre-Achotha societies also have their own myths of lost, ancient civilizations that preceded even them. Jitalmank myths mention the Ahu'awa Goiku Or, a civilization of past fathers who once ruled northwestern Uthapaba. Aukink's lands are covered with the ruins of the Mbosink civilization, whose self-destruction led to the rise of Aukink. The Twin Peninsulas are also home to ruins throughout the region, most notably below the Ainirirch and the sunken city of Mihamau. The notion that Achotha was the first to invent writing and agriculture is also absurd. Assuming Achotha's achievements at this time are rightfully attributed to King Asheka I, the best that he did was invent a phonetic writing system based on the languages of Achotha and later Horjan, and invent irrigation with the help of the rivers. Though important steps in developing Achotha society, these technological feats are hardly cause for the change of an era. All of the aforementioned civilizations, Aukink, Jitalmank, Ugarenk, the Copper Kingdoms, and the Twin Peninsulas, all had writing systems of their own languages for so long that their invention isn't even recorded in known history. In terms of agriculture, some of the different agricultural techniques of Twilight Era civilizations are better than what Achotha has now during contemporary times, over a millennium after the start of the Dawn Era. The Twin Peninsulas had strains of common crops that were selectively bred for generations to allow them to grow in high saline environments, to bypass land salted during ancient conflicts, and to allow for ocean-based agriculture in an attempt to expand usable terrain. Ugarenk society had irrigation techniques that, though now lost, were profound at their height, and are claimed to have been so good that they turned their desert lands into a lush, green paradise. Even tribal people, such as those in the northwestern regions of Uthapaba, made use of the Achur cactus, known also as the Miracle of the Desert, as a crude but important form of agriculture. Once again, Achotha was far behind in their discoveries. The most honest reason behind the turn of eras is the spread of Achotha culture all throughout Uthapaba during the Dawn Era. From Achotha, their culture spread into Horjan, then Ayakidgu, then the Copper Kingdoms, into Anonk and Amishgog, then into Ugarenk and the Pramamareki, then into the Twin Peninsulas through the Pramamareki cartographers of Ithkink, into the Uyaj Uwina through Kahu, and into Jitalmank and Aukink through the Ipo Olgwe. All of these colonization attempts and exilements led to the normalization of varying degrees of Achotha culture, the most common of which being their way of telling time and the distinction in eras, leading to the Twilight Era and Dawn Era getting adopted as legitimate and distinct time periods. While the distinction between eras is arbitrary, it is true that history started becoming well documented as a result of King Asheka I's insistence on the literacy of the common people so that they could read his religious propaganda, and the encouragement of documenting historical events, transaction, laws, mythology, and diplomatic agreements. Like the divide in eras, the prevalent use of writing and literacy spread around Uthapaba, making it much easier to track events starting in the Dawn Era. This effect is exaggerated by more ancient societies being destroyed and replaced by Achotha-adjacent cultures, such as Ugarenk, Aukink, and Jitalmank, all being destroyed by the various Thalaspora of Achotha, who are ruthless in their destruction of historical, cultural, and religious documents, destroying large swaths of what little Twilight Era history was written down. Regardless of the arbitrary divide between eras, and despite how muddled Twilight Era history has become, It is possible to discern, at least in part, some of the historical events and cultures of the Twilight era based on mythology, conjecture, archaeology, old surviving documents, and the biased writings of more modern culture.